Before we break down this massive revelation coming out of the locker room and what it means for the franchise's future, do me a quick favor and hit that like button on this video. I also want to know exactly where the Who Dat Nation is tuning in from today, so drop your name and city down in the comments section right now to let me know you are locked in. I have been reporting on roster movements, injury designations, and contract negotiations for years, but rarely do we get a confession as candid and startling as the one Chris Olave dropped following the victory over the New York Jets. When a 24-year-old star receiver admits he was on the brink of walking away from the game entirely, it forces us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about this season. My sources and I have been tracking Olave's progress all year, but the depth of his internal struggle was kept within a very tight circle until now. Olave explicitly stated that he was contemplating retirement last season following a terrifying stretch of head injuries. We are not talking about general fatigue. We are talking about a young man questioning his long-term quality of life. To provide the necessary context, you have to look back at the end of the 2024 campaign. I remember reporting on the hit against the Carolina Panthers that led to Olave being transported off the field on a backboard. That was his fourth known concussion in the NFL, and it resulted in him missing the final 8 games of the season. At that moment, the silence from the camp was deafening, and now we know why. He was leaning on his faith and his family, legitimately weighing whether the risk of stepping back onto the gridiron was worth it. This changes the lens through which I view his 2025 breakout. This isn't just a bounce-back year. It is a season that very nearly did not happen. From a strategic standpoint, the fact that he decided to give it another try is the single most important development for the New Orleans offense. When I look at the game film from Sunday's 29-6 win over the Jets, I don't see a player playing with hesitation. I see a dominant force. Olave secured 10 catches for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns, proving that his skills are as sharp as ever. But what strikes me most is the chemistry developing between Olave and rookie quarterback Tyler Shough. This is the pairing that the Saints are betting the house on. In that Jets game, Shough found Olave for a score, and Taysom Hill connected with him for another. This versatility proves that Olave is the engine of this offense, regardless of who is under center. However, we need to talk about the front office implications here. I have been hearing rumblings about continuing conversations regarding a contract extension. This is where the business of football meets the medical reality. Despite Olave's admission of retirement thoughts, he has indicated a desire to remain in New Orleans long-term. My understanding is that the Saints are willing to pay him as a top-tier receiver, which signals that their medical staff feels comfortable with his prognosis. If the team had significant doubts about his longevity, those contract talks would be stalled. Instead, they are accelerating. This tells me the organization views the 2024 ending as an anomaly rather than a chronic degenerative issue, although the risk remains. For the coaching staff, this admission adds a layer of complexity to the game plan. You cannot wrap a wide receiver in bubble wrap, but you can scheme him into safer positions. I have noticed fewer suicide routes over the middle into heavy linebacker traffic and more emphasis on perimeter isolation where Olave can use his speed rather than his body to win. This is a conscious adjustment to protect their premier asset. Tyler Shough's development is critical here as well. His ball placement needs to be precise to ensure he isn't leading Olave into devastating collisions. The connection we saw Sunday suggests they are on the same page, which is a massive positive for the rest of the season and heading into 2026. The numbers simply do not lie about his impact. Olave has already surpassed the 1,000-yard mark, sitting at 1,044 receiving yards through 15 games. He is producing at an elite level despite the mental hurdle he had to clear to even suit up. This brings us to the immediate future. The Saints are heading to Nashville to face the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, December 28th. This is a 1 p.m. kickoff on CBS, and it presents another physical challenge. The Titans are known for a physical brand of defense, and I will be watching closely to see if opponents start trying to test Olave's resolve with physical play at the line of scrimmage. When we look at the broader roster construction, Olave's decision to stay stabilizes the entire draft strategy. If he had retired, wide receiver would have instantly become the #1 need for this team in the upcoming draft, forcing them to perhaps reach for a prospect in the first round. Because he is here and performing, the front office can focus on bolstering the offensive line to protect Shough or adding edge rushers. Olave's presence allows the team to draft for value rather than desperation. That is the hidden value of his return that doesn't show up in the box score. We also have to acknowledge the psychological fortitude required here. We have seen players like Luke Kuechly and Chris Borland walk away early due to similar concerns. For Olave to stare that down, go through the protocol, and return to post a 140-plus yard game is remarkable. It sets a tone in that locker room. When your best player is putting his body on the line after a scare like that, it elevates the commitment level of every other guy on the roster. It galvanizes the unit. Moving forward, every time Olave takes a big hit, there will be a collective holding of breath in the Superdome. That is just the reality of the situation now. But right now, he's playing free, fast, and confident. The Saints have managed to keep their WR1, and he is repaying that faith with elite production. The extension talks will be the next major headline I expect to break.
likely solidifying him as the cornerstone of this franchise for the next 5 years. I want to hear from you guys on this. Does knowing that Chris Olave almost retired change how you view his performance this season? And do you think the Saints should hesitate on a massive contract extension given his injury history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.